Hello. Hi Irfan. Hi, hello everyone. Thanks for joining in. I see more people joining. Hi Sagar. Hi Surekha. Talk to escape. Oh, that's an interesting handle. Hi. Hello. Thank you for joining in, guys. So, well, I'm Abhra Das. I am a part of the preview team committee of KASHISH, and I'm also the jury coordinator this year. And I have been part of this festival for over 7 years now. It's always amazing, and especially this time because we are just almost a month away. It's not even a month, KASHISH starts. Please mark the dates. Hi Dityam. Hi Rohini. Hello Rohini. Guys, please mark your calendars. Do not forget KASHISH begins on. Anyone? Please comment. 30th of May. Oh yes, Golden. Of course. I mean, I have the setting sun right in front of me and it's direct. Let me see. Hi Duraya. So like I was saying, we are really excited. Our entire team is very excited to do, a series of KASHISH Live, which is basically Instagram live sessions, where, as a run up to the festival. And, what we do here exactly is we have conversations with artists and filmmakers and all sorts of lovely people, and they're wonderful and of course they're great in their fields, but they also have supported KASHISH unconditionally. And we have our guest with us today. I'm very excited because we have a wonderful filmmaker with us. He's a fine editor. He's also a poet. And he has made some extremely sensitive films and always been outspoken about various issues. And he has handled LGBTQ issues so well in his, every other film of his. Please welcome Onir. Onir is here. Do we have him here? I've added him and let's see.
Hi there, Abhra. How are you doing?
Onir. I'm good. How are you?
Good as one can be in this lockdown. Hi, Sridhar.
Totally. But, those who follow you, Onir, we have only been seeing you, traveling the length and breadth across the country and eating some really amazing food. And that really got me excited. And, of course, now, things are more...
No, actually, I've been traveling for the last 2 weeks and shooting like different parts. And I was again supposed to leave on the 19th. And, okay, the situation is such that it just doesn't make sense anymore, unfortunately.
Right. But where are you now? Are you back in Bombay?
Yeah, I'm back in Bombay. Yeah.
Okay. And so tell us, what exactly was this project?
I'm working on a documentary film, which is about India. It's called India-Italy Contemporary Art. So it's an Indo-Italian project where we are talking about approaches to contemporary art. So for which right now I was traveling in Kashmir, in Kutch, in Sundarbans, and we're supposed to go to Kochi and Spiti Valley and, Bangalore and different parts of the country. So it's a very exciting art project that I'm working on.
How lovely, how wonderful. Onir, we have been, in touch with over the years, over emails and, messages and Twitter, but I think this is the first time we are actually speaking face to face,
Chatting.
Giving you proper adda.
Absolutely.
Two Bengalis chatting. So yeah, I'm really excited. Also, because I Am is one of my, all-time favorite films, and I don't know if you remember, Onir, back in the day, this is something, I think some 2010, 11, back when, we did not have streaming platforms as such. And, and Twitter, I remember interacting with you on Twitter, and honestly, you're the first person to reply to me on Twitter, and that's how I figured that the notification bar actually works. Because till then it's like, and Twitter was a much kinder place, not like today.
Not like today, yeah.
Yeah, but and that's where I actually came across the whole campaign that you were doing about I am Abhra, Omar, and all the 4 films before the release of the film. And but I actually saw the film on VCD. In fact, I got it. I went to meet a friend in Nirmal Lifestyle in Thane, and it was a crossword. One of the crosswords I just chanced upon the VCD, not a DVD, because I was a poor student back then. I bought a VCD, and and then I remember I think I was so moved by that film for various reasons. You have first of all, the theme of the entire film, about identity, and and there were so many things going on in the film. It was one of the first films where I actually saw a homosexual portrayal of I mean, this is for the first time I saw 2 Indian men kissing each other. But after that, the horror that followed, I remember it really had stayed with me for quite some time. So yes, and now I want to you to take us through the journey of I Am, right? How did you create these characters, which are just so wonderful?
I think I Am was primarily inspired by real life stories and incidents of things that I've heard or experienced directly or indirectly through friends. So all the stories were extremely personal in a way. Like, for example, if I had to think of Megha, the story of the Kashmiri Pandit and the Kashmiri Muslim friend living in Kashmir, was inspired by my best friend and producer Sanjay Suri's own life story, where when the film happened, he went back to Kashmir about 17 years after his father was shot there. So similarly, for me, I also identified with the concept of loss of home, because I am born and brought up in Bhutan, and then left due to certain political situation, came to India. So for me, home is a place where I don't go back to, so it's a absence, it's a vacuum, and I think Megha dealt a lot with that. Similarly, when I was doing, suppose, the story I Am Abhimanyu, which was about child sexual abuse, it was a lot inspired by very different people, many people I spoke to, and 2 of the very important persons who contributed a lot to the story is Harish Iyer and Ganesh Nalari. Both their stories about their experience. And I had long talks with Harish. He used to keep telling how he used to find comfort in his pet, and that's why I introduced the cats in Abhimanyu. So all the stories are kind of something that inspired by real life. They could have all been individual films, they could have been separate films, but at that time, and I'm sure even now, there wouldn't be studios or platforms, anyone willing to really finance something like that.
Right. You raised a very important question, which I'm going to come back to in a bit. Hello, everyone. Atika, hi, Atika. I think a lot of us have joined. Meanwhile, while we are talking, please leave your comments, because at some point I'm going to take all your questions as well. Yes, I'm very excited. I'm to ask questions, but of course, definitely, I'm also going to include all the comments as well while we are chatting. You talk about finance, Onir. I remember 2 things particularly. And also those who are watching, and if you have not seen I Am, I would urge you to go see it now. It's streaming on Netflix. one thing, the first thing that opens the opening credit is, you start with a quote by Tagore from Gitanjali, where the mind is without fear, and the head is held high, yeah, right? And then follows a beautiful song, and then we see the entire list of co-producers, So I remember you had crowdfunded the film as well. So could you please tell us about the story, in short, how that bit happened?
I think, when I, in 2009, started the process of trying to get funding through crowdfunding for IAM, at that time there was no crowdfunding platforms in India. Neither was I aware of how Kickstarter, Indiegogo.com function. It came from a desire to make a film, and I thought that so many people messaged me on Facebook, primarily at that time Facebook, wanting to know about films, wanting to get involved with films, but the finances are so huge, people are scared of, very challenges. So I thought, well, I want to make this film. Let me see. Since you're constantly told there is no audience for this kind of a film, let me put it out that I want to make this film, and people who feel that this film should be made can support me either by volunteering or by financing. So that's how I had put out the first post about I'm Abhimanyu, which saying that why this film is important for me to make. And I think within the first week, I still remember the first check that came to me was of 2,000 rupees from a student in Pune, saying that I don't want you to name me, but I feel that you're telling my story and I want this film made. And I knew that that was the beginning and this film will get made. And over, I think, the 1 year that it took, we had about more than 400 people from 47 countries across the world. Humsafar being a very important part of my journey and a co-producer of the film, but there were so many precious people who either funded or worked as volunteers and made this film happen, which is probably the first mainstream, film made through crowdfunding through social network. People have made films through emails and, friends funding and all, but I think in an open space like this, it was one of the first ones in India, and perhaps still now the largest in terms of the money it raised.
How wonderful, and it's so amazing to see when so much hard work has gone into making the film, and finally it goes to win the National Award for the best, film in Hindi. And that's something, today, after when Parasite won, and we're having the conversation about this whole 1-inch barrier, about subtitles, for you, maybe 10 or 11 years ago, back then, to take that call that I will let my actors speak the language that they, and I will give a sense of the milieu they are coming from. How difficult was that decision for you at that point?
Actually, I always, the day I made my first film, My Brother Nikhil, in 2005, when everyone said that you can't make a film about homosexuals, about, you can't make a film with the lead character being gay. I think that day, the fear of trying to do something which is not done went away, and I feel that right from the beginning for IAM, when I was making IAM, I wanted to celebrate all the languages that we have, in this country. And I think it's I don't find it normal when, someone in Kashmir or someone in Bengal, at home, you're Bengali, you don't talk in Hindi with your parents. I just find it a little odd. So I wanted to structure the script in a way where when people were speaking to someone from a different language space, they would speak in Hindi or English. Otherwise, they would speak in their own mother tongue.
Right. And also, or as you see the film, through the film, you always have, one story, but how the other story, they are just intertwined, one character going here and, maybe a phone call, and then you have actually working people, that is so relatable. Like, even if it's a phone call, people are talking about work, which we usually don't see, that people are living, breathing, actually working professionals. Also,
the cast. I have to talk about the cast. Not only it's an ensemble and such wonderful actors. You have, Nandita Das, Manav Kaul, and Juhi Chawla, everyone, Manisha Koirala, Sanjay Suri, everyone. But you also managed to cast directors like Anurag Basu and Anurag Kashyap. So how was it directing directors in your film?
I think both Anurags at some point wanted to be actors when they first came to Bombay film industry. So, and Anurag by now has acted in lots of films, Anurag Kashyap.
Yeah.
So I think both were accidents because to Anurag Kashyap I had sent the script of, I was, bouncing off scripts, we are friends and, you share ideas.
Yeah.
And I was telling him that, listen, a lot of theatre actors come to you. I'm finding it difficult to get someone agree to be the abuser, the father. And he called me and he says, Onir, I've not really spoken about it to many people, but I've been abused as a child and I want to do the role. I think it will be empowering. So that's how Anurag Kashyap came on board. And I remember I'd gone to Marriott Hotel for some meeting and I was just sitting and suddenly Anurag Basu comes running and says, 500 taka de to, give me 500 rupees. So because he had forgotten his wallet and he wanted to pay the cab. So I gave him 500 rupees and when he came back, I said, listen, that was the signing amount and your total fees, you're doing my film as this Bengali doctor because you look like Mohan or whatever. So he, of course, had a sense of, he said yes. And it was fun because for them also, I think it was kind of a experience to cherish.
That's a funny story. I'm going to take a few questions before we continue. I just hope, yeah. Let me just scroll down. Awesome to hear about the. Sorry, my phone is a bit. Someone.
Are you there?
Hello. Yes, I'm there. There was a network issue, I guess. Indranil Chatterjee. Indranil Chatterjee has a question. Made in Heaven was probably the only product that explicitly portrayed gay sex. How far do you think is mainstream film is from actually explicitly portraying sex between men without much censorship?
One is actually.
Would you like to?
Yeah, with the new OTT platform, laws, I think. Never know whose sensibilities might get hurt, So I think actually there is a step back right now everywhere. Films have always been much more difficult than OTT platforms because when Made in Heaven was made, there was no OTT, laws or censorship. But now the new laws have come in. Having said that, I think most people forget that decades before Made in Heaven was made, there was a film made by Riyad Wadia called Bomb Gaze, where there was explicit sex between Rahul Bose and I forgot the other actor's name. And that was a film made many, many years ago. Similarly, Fire was made in 1997, I think. And even that, the lovemaking between Shabana and Nandita was explicit. So I think very often we forget to credit what was done at a much more difficult time. Which, a film like Fire, we had to deal with censorship, protests, but it did it at that point. And Bombay, of course, because on YouTube, again, there was not really so much censorship then.
Sorry, Onir, I think we just lost
Can you hear me? Is there a... Is this better now?
Yes, I can hear you now. Yes. You're saying about the...
your visuals are coming mosaic. I can't see you clearly.
Oh, okay. Can you see me now? Maybe the
Yeah.
internet just... Okay, sorry about that. But yeah, okay, yeah. Yes. Indranil Chatterjee has another question. Will the censorship board apply the same standards between straight versus gay scenes? Okay.
Ideally they should, but they have never done it for years and years. I remember in 2017, again, Indranil, I think when you talk about like what Sridhar, I'm sure you'll agree here, when you are talking about how Made in Heaven was the first one, they didn't have to face, there's a huge difference between films and OTT platform at that point. I remember when I had gone to the censor board for Shab, the first thing they told was, "Aapko in a normal dikha diya." You know, so that's your answer, whether they'll treat separately. Shab had lovemaking scenes between men, which a lot of it had to be just deleted because it took me nearly 8 months, I think, 2 tribunals, 2 trips to Delhi to finally get the film out. And right now, what is also worrisome is that the tribunal is no longer there. So if you have a problem, you can't even go to the tribunal. So these things happen. People are not aware, you know. And unfortunately, even with platforms now, there will be much more censorship.
Right. And also, you know, Onir, you did mention initially that, you know, it is very difficult to get funding even now. And even with these, now it's different. We have OTT platforms coming in. There are many, you know, LGBT or queer narratives being made. The stories, you know, we have prominent queer characters. But my question is, are they being made by queer filmmakers as well? I'm not very sure. You know, so there was always this, you know, there's a question as to, you know, who gets to tell the stories, you know. So I wanted to ask, you know, there's always, for example, you know, there's always a debate as to, you know, a trans character should be portrayed by a trans person. I mean, that's the righteous thing to do, or perhaps maybe that's a more politically correct thing to do. But you, as an independent filmmaker, my question is, how feasible is it is to people from the LGBT community, firstly, and why I ask you is because, you know, you have called for entries, I remember, for your next film from the community.
I honestly, I don't know how, because this is the this time I'm consciously trying to do it, you know, and I'm absolutely sure that I will cast a trans woman for the role of the trans woman. People very often forget that there is a difference between gender and sexuality, and I feel that it is important to understand that when we are talking of gay and lesbian, it's sexuality. When you're talking of trans woman or a trans man, it's a gender thing, and I want to be honest in that space. Having said that, I know there are also challenges, because when you're making a feature film of a certain where you want it to go internationally, you also need to find the actor who will fit the role and be also good. But I feel like this time I'm starting early, so that if necessary, I will be having workshops, and I hope that this dream is successful. Also, I feel this is something I've been also, and since Sridhar is here, both of us have been talking about it in many platforms, is that it's more, I mean, of course, there are more queer stories coming in different platforms, characters. But again, if you see, one is you have to understand that we are the largest film producing country in the world. You know, so after Made in Heaven, you cannot really, everyone keeps referring to Made in Heaven. After that, you don't have any such significant series that has come up with such a significant character. Secondly, you have to also understand that very often the characters, you'll see a lot more lesbian, you know, but seen from a very male perspective, you know, because primarily a lot of this is one to do with getting a tick mark that, okay, we have done our LGBTQI inclusion. And also, it's not us telling our stories. I think the way we look at our lives, we're not issues, we're not problems.
Yeah.
We are stories like any other stories, and the gauge has to be, the queer gauge has to be empowered so that our stories, you know, we don't have to be told how to accept, how to narrate straight lives, because we are born with it. We are born accepting it and celebrating it. But unfortunately, we have to teach the other how to accept us and celebrate us. So we need to be empowered as storytellers to be telling. It should be Sridhar, people like Sridhar and me, and other filmmakers like us, Apurva, who should be telling our stories more visibly everywhere.
Which takes me to your next upcoming film, VR. Honestly, when I got to know for the first time, full disclosure, I do have a day job. I work at the National Film Development Corporation, and Film Bazaar is where I got to know about your project. That's where the first time I learned, and I was so happy because I loved I Am so much. I was very happy to see that we have a sequel to the film, which is about celebrations, and also it's a co-production. It's in Indo-Canadian co-production, and we have such a vibrant co-producer who's Shant from Canada, always full of energy. So can you please tell us about this, the inception of VR, and how you, what to expect from that particular film? Yeah.
I think right after the Supreme Court verdict on 377, I've been always wanting that me as a filmmaker, I want to do something which is like my tribute to the hearing on IPC 377. But while it's a celebration, it also is putting out questions, what next? Because we still don't have equal civil rights. And I thought, okay, the Supreme Court has empowered the queer community to have sex, but has not empowered our love, about right to cohabitation, partnership, marriage, whichever form, and that's extremely important. So I thought, let me make a film, which is We Are, saying that we are, which is celebrating different aspects of queer love. So there's a gay love story, a lesbian love story, a trans love story, a bisexual love story. I wanted all the films to end with hope and happiness. Despite, I know, life is always not about celebration, but I wanted this because in my the state of mind that I'm in, the space I am, I want us to celebrate our identity. And this film, for me, it might sound a little vain, but it is kind of my gift to all of us about our lives.
No, it's not at all vain. We are actually waiting to see happy stories, our own stories, which are happy, which has a happy ending, on it. That's something we always look forward to. And I always keep saying, the whole point of Kashish as a festival, films they are so, you watch films, they make you more empathetic, but the moment you see something, you connect, right? And when you see a happy ending on screen, it always feels good, with who you're watching it with the whole audience. It just feels so nice. Very sorry, guys.
Right now, actually, is my network okay? Because I could hear you very, it's not very smooth, but can you hear me properly? Can you, I can hear you now, but your visual is all mosaic. But can you hear and see me properly? Director, writer, and I'm working with Fay Pictures, Shant as producers from there. And we've finished the first draft of the script and working with Vibha Singh for the dialogues right now. And again, we are like I Am has various dialogues. There is Kashmiri, there is Bengali, there is Malayalam, there is Hindi, there is Marathi. So there's different kinds of languages that I'm going to use in this film. And we've also started the casting process because it'll be a mix of known faces and also new talent, because I want to cast a Kashmiri for a Kashmiri. I want to cast a Malayali for a Malayali. So I'm very, very sure that this time I'm going to take it a step. You know, for me, it's very important that with every film, it's a step. I push myself, and this time I want to do that. And let's really, really hope that I am hoping that uh, delayed, but I'm hoping to start uh, shooting by maybe September, August, September. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. I think audio is off.
Sorry, I'm very sorry about this.
No, your audio. Yeah, I can
Can you
hear
hear me
you.
now? Maybe, yeah, my internet just was acting funny. I'm back in some other network right now. So just hope it'll stay.
Okay.
Also, Onir, what about the, you're talking about the cast, but what about the crew? Do you also feel that, it would be nice if LGBT technicians, or maybe say people from the community, can be taken in as an intern to learn the process of filmmaking? Where do you see that? Because we were talking about empowering people from the community. Is that an option?
I think two things. One is, like I mentioned you, my co-writer, she's lesbian, open lesbian director, writer from Canada. So that was a very conscious thing, because I thought that, okay, I have a certain perspective, and this is the first time that I'm working on the perspective of trans woman, lesbian, and it would be nice to have a co-writer who I feel she brings in so much of all this with her experience of personal experience, and also experience as a filmmaker and writer, and I find that very, very precious. Apart from it, I also actually, when we are looking out for the crew, that one of the things, because it's an Indo-Canadian project, one of the things that has been on our mind is to have people from the community as part of the crew. But unfortunately, also I want the film to have a certain, there are not too many options when you're looking at Canadian and Indian. There are not too many people out and proud, but I would definitely open up to have people from the queer community to come and be interns in the film or assist if they're out and proud. There have been some trans women who, like, I really wanted to cast this one trans woman, but one of her conditions was that I cannot tell that she's trans. And for me, that didn't work, because this whole film is about being proud who you are. Though I respect her because she's a woman now and she wants to be known as a woman, but it's a very problematic area, because tomorrow I don't want to be told that, okay, I didn't cast trans, because if I can't say that. So it's sometimes difficult, but I feel that, okay, this is a choice that I made, that this time I want, if someone is saying that I'm queer, he has to be out and proud to be a part of the film.
Right. Thanks, Oni. Now, my last few questions remaining. I think we are running out of time, but I want to ask you. You have been associated with the festival for such a long time. You know, what has been your very first memory of Kashish? Because now you are an advisory board member. So, can you please tell us what is your initial memory of Kashish?
Actually, all the memories have now all, merged together. But for me, Kashish means Sridhar and
Initial ones,
Sagar.
yeah.
For me, it means Sridhar and Sagar. The first thing everyone says Kashish, I think of these two names because I feel, of course, it's a lot of people coming together, contributing, helping. Our festival can't happen, but for me, these two guys, for like more than 10 years, have been the pillar, have been pushing it, have created this space which is a gift to the community in Bombay, where it's a space where you not only see queer cinema but you celebrate our lives, where people socialize, meet, and I really feel that it takes, like Sridhar being a filmmaker, it's a huge sacrifice sometimes that you're not giving that much time to try and follow up and make your own film and stuff like that, and put that energy and time and resources trying to make this festival keep on going year after year and year. And I just feel extremely proud and happy that in my small way I have been associated with the festival from many years, be it in terms of showing my films or being in the jury or in the advisory board. But for me, it is precious, this association.
You're absolutely right. I know Sridhar is writing something, so I just hope Sridhar also, apart from Kashish, finds time to write his script and finally make his next film. but Onir, tell me one thing. Now that you're an active board member of Kashish, so what is your vision? How do you want to take forward? What is your vision about the festival? Where do you want the festival to go from here?
I think, again, in terms of, I feel that the major vision, he comes from Sridhar. He's the guide, and all of us just chip in our small bits and ideas. Sometimes maybe not even, logistically possible. But one of the things that we've all been talking about is how to bring in more and more of regional cinema, various languages, be it in the workshop, be it in different spaces. Maybe also the possibility of Kashish traveling, from city to city, at least some more cities, because I think it's Kashish is not just a festival, it's a movement, and I feel that, that would be, and I hope with, now, and it's not really happened to the extent it should have happened, is that after the, reading down of 377, I would hope that more and more corporate companies would come forward to fund and support this festival.
We all hope so, Onir, and I really, really hope all of you watching would support the festival, would come to the festival, attend the festival. The crowdfunding, a campaign is going on. Please share the word. Let people know about the festival, and please join us. And any last comments, Onir, from you to anyone who's watching?
Thank you, everyone, for having joined us and for this conversation. Thank you for being with Kashish. I mean, thank you, Kashish, for being there, being a part of all of our lives, and enriching us with stories, and also educating the IA plus community, the plus part of it, about us, our stories. And I think that's extremely, extremely important. So yes, have a very good evening, everyone. And please, please, please stay safe, mask up, and whoever knows anybody who is eligible, please go for vaccination. I think enough. Hi, Shishant. It's so good to see you. That's another person that from the community who is amazing, who's been doing amazing work and out and proud, and has you know, as such a great social, you know, influence that it's great to see you here, Sushant. Always much love. And yes,
Right.
so I was
Thank
just
you
saying
so much,
that,
Onir. And yes,
yeah.
no, it's you brought up such an important message, because it's so important for us to keep each other safe and ourselves, you know, be more responsible, especially in these very difficult times. Thank you so much, Onir, and thank you for always being there, and for always, you know, being there for us and replying to us whenever we have asked for help. You've always been there. So thank you so much, and all the very best. I just hope we get to see VR at next Kashish, maybe. I hope the film gets ready by then.
Absolutely.
And
Bye, everybody. Bye, Sushant. Bye, Sridhar.
bye-bye. Thank you so much. Take care.